everyone, it's Paul Myatt here. I am speaking today to Therese Milanovic from Brisbane. And how are you, Therese?
I am very well, Paul. Nice to have a chat with you today.
And you too. So you're a Taubman expert. Tell me a little bit, give me the 5-second spiel on Taubman. I've heard a lot about it because I went to Samantha Coates and Brenda Hunting's workshop in Sydney, and I was actually really inspired to find out more about it. So tell everyone else about it.
Would you like to know a little bit about the background of how the work developed?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. So it began with a teacher called Dorothy Taubman, who was in Brooklyn. And it was a time that her husband was away during the war, and she had to make a living as a piano teacher. And she started to question why some people with children with very small hands could play advanced works, whereas adults who've been practicing their scales and doing their hand diligently for 20 years struggled. And so her initial quest really started from the question of why can some people play well and others can't, despite the hand size. So she was very much interested in virtuosity and high-level playing. And then along the way, to try and answer some of the questions she had, she started researching into anatomy and physiology and the construction of the piano, and really began quite a scientific undertaking. And the discoveries she made were then applied to pianists who had problems with pain and injury. And she was able to really correlate the cause and effect. So if you have this particular motion in your technique, then that will probably lead to fatigue and then discomfort and pain. But the Taubman approach has kind of become associated with injury, but that wasn't the initial intention. So that was just a really nice side effect. That playing the piano to a high level in the most free and coordinate way will also keep you very far away from injury.
Exactly. And you've done your PhD in the Taubman approach at the Queensland Conservatorium.
Yes, I did.
And you're also in the teaching associate teaching staff with the university in the States.
Through the Galansky Institute. That's
yes.
Right, in the States. Yeah. So my experience with the Taubman approach, unfortunately, like many people, came because I was injured. I was injured in my first year at the Conservatorium, and then I really went through about 9 years of trying everything under the sun to work out what was happening. And I attended 2 symposia in the States and had 7 hours of lessons, and was able to come home and start a master's degree in performance. So for me, it really was quite a quick recovery, but there was just no one in Australia who was able to identify what I was doing wrong in my playing.
Wow.
So that really became sort of my life's quest, is to learn more about this work and to bring this work to Australia. And the focus of my PhD was the process of becoming a qualified Taubman instructor and everything that went around that. So it's wonderful now that we're at the stage that one of my teachers, I learn still with John Bloomfield and also Edna Galansky via Skype. So it's wonderful that it's kind of mainstream enough and accepted enough that John is the keynote speaker for the APPC conference coming up very soon. So
yes, it's the Australian Piano Pedagogy Conference, and you're speaking as well.
I am, yes. I'm going to talk on the Friday, and I'll be talking about the new Amy B technical exercises and introducing some choreography to make them a little bit smoother, and also some alternate fingering suggestions for smaller hands. But even if you don't follow Amy B, I intend to make it very general so that you can apply principles to other things too. So please still do come, even if you teach ANSCA or ABRSM.
Well, Gillian and I are going to be interviewing quite a number of people who are coming to APPC presenting. So I hope that we can get you to come and speak to us as well.
Sure.
I'm presenting on the Thursday on whole body learning, which is a combination of Orff, Delcros and Kadai. So that's fantastic. And then on Saturday and Sunday after, it's just Saturday, isn't it?
Just this Saturday.
There's a Taubman symposium.
Yeah, so we're having a one-day intensive. So it'll be John presenting, and also we'll have 2 of the Galansky Institute co-founders joining us via Skype from the US. So Mary Moran particularly has done a lot of work with children, and so her presentation will be looking at chord playing really from the most elementary to the most advanced levels, because, of course, all of these skills have to be scaffolded. You don't suddenly put it chords. You introduce all the principles, and then it develops. The chords get bigger. They start to leap. They jump around. all of those things. And
Do you mind? I might just show everyone the website while you're chatting and telling us about. And I've put up a little QR code, so if you're on your laptop, you can point your device to that, which will take you to the Taubman Approach workshop. And I believe you can actually go physically if you're in Brisbane, but also there's a digital version as well.
That's right. We really want to make sure that people can access this information. We want to really make it, as easy as possible to get hold of. So it will be videoed, and then if you register as an online participant, once we're done editing and uploading the videos, then you'll just get a link and you can watch the videos as many times as you like. So we'll just have it up indefinitely, and in combination with the handouts, you can really sort of pause and rewind and do what you need to do to take the learning to heart as much as you need.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's so useful for piano teachers. I'm sure piano teachers around the country, it's a big effort to get to Brisbane. If you're in Perth or Adelaide or something like that. So they had the opportunity to join, and it's the same price. It's fantastic.
We want to also really just reassure people that if you've only just discovered the name Taubman Approach or you've got no experience, don't feel that you'll be left out or excluded. Like everything else, of course, the deeper you go into it, the richer the experience you have. But also just really presenting with a focus on information that you can immediately take home and try it in your studio and try it in your own hands. So we want to make it really sort of practical and accessible, that you can take it on board without having to have follow-up lessons with a Taubman teacher. But then, of course, if you do want to go deeper, then there's a lot more available as well.
Fantastic. And have you got any advice? Is there something that you could share with piano teachers that they could use straight away, or anything like that? Quick tips or something like that?
Quick tips, sure.
Quick tips.
Quick tip. Through a tongue twister there. So one example, and that Taubman really just in her process of discovery, was that there's a lot of training. I'll just bring my camera down. There's a lot of training around making all the fingers feel equal, of course. And so there's a lot of exercises about lifting the fingers, and particularly the poor old fourth finger tends to suffer in that regard. But the thing is that our fourth finger doesn't really like lifting because it's joined by tendons to the third and the fifth, but there's nothing to stop it dropping. So if we drop the fingers from the main knuckle, then that finger can feel just as strong and equal as all of the other fingers. So that's just one super quick tip. But I guess the overarching philosophy of the Taubman approach is that the fingers, hand and forearm have to work as a unit, so that this is our playing apparatus, and that the torso and everything else has to be in the right place to support the playing apparatus. But it's really about asking the parts of the body to do what they do best. Because if we don't do that, then other parts of the body tend to step in when it's not working. And so it's really about the coordinate motion, and through that's how we experience ease and effortless playing, and also high-level playing.
Fantastic. Well, I'll put that site up again. So if anyone's interested to I think it's $111 for the full day in Brisbane, or for the digital. And John Bloomfield, he's presenting, I believe.
Yes, he'll be presenting live. I'll be presenting live. For those who are in the room, we are going to split up the group so you have an opportunity to ask questions at the piano, because at the end of the day, that is where it's at. You can understand things intellectually, but it's about experiencing it in your own hands.
Absolutely.
To teach others, it's like being on a plane, help put your own oxygen mask on first. So if you can experience it and feel it, then you can demonstrate it, and you can also help your students too. So that'll be a really practical session. And then I'll be continuing with part 2 of my talk about the MEB exercises. So it will be different content to the Friday. The Friday, I think I just have 45 minutes, and I could probably spend a whole day talking about these new exercises. So it won't be a repeat. It will be new material also. And there'll be another session as well called the process of teaching. And I know when I first encountered the Taubman work, and I watch these very experienced teachers who fix problems seemingly by magic. And it was all a bit of a mystery to me. And in these sessions, what we do is we illuminate the thought process, so that John will say, right, so I'm seeing what this student did. I could take these options, But to me, the most pressing thing, or the way I could help the student most, is to address this issue. So to really articulate, the thought process of an amazingly experienced and highly teacher, so you really get an insight behind what looks like just a snap decision or intuition, which is, based on very, very quick decision making and, of course, decades of experience.
Fantastic. That's really useful. I think I was talking to you the other day and I said, I don't practice enough to get injured. But as you said, even, just learning yourself as a teacher, I know, I still play professionally from time to time, and it's a really great thing to make sure that when you actually are doing some personal practice, that you're doing it correctly.
And also for our students, to bring them back into awareness of their bodies and how they're playing the piano feels, because I think very often our training is all about the music. And of course that's such an important part. But I know when I first started asking some of my little people, how does that feel? And they'd look at me like I landed from Mars. Like, what do you mean, how does that feel? They'd never asked that before. And then once you start to ask and they start to tune into their bodies, it's interesting that they can often start complaining, because even small children can think that it's normal to feel some kind of discomfort or strain, and it should feel difficult. And some even told me I thought it was normal that my third finger hurt, or whatever finger they're having troubles with. So we're excited to really tune into that process and give you feedback. We don't know. We just see someone playing, unless they complain, we think it's okay. And as you all know, there's so much to do in a piano lesson, you just move on to the next thing. So it's really getting those skills and that awareness from the very beginning.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to seeing you at APPC, and
Yes.
we're broadcasting a lot over the week, and if anyone is interested, they can just log on to blackrockmusic.com and click the link to get the watch list of all the people that we're interviewing. So we've got the David Lockett, Tim Topham, Samantha Coates, Tembi Harris, goodness me, Philip Kevrin, Karen Henderson, hopefully yourself as well.
Sure. It's going to be a big week, and it really
is. It's going to be fantastic. So thank you so much for your time, and teachers, if you are interested, I'll pop that up one more time, and you can log on and be part of it. And in fact, I'm seriously thinking that I should stay in Brisbane for the day. I could be tempted very easily.
Well, you can have extra cake for.
Exactly. All right. Thanks so much for your time. I'll see you later. Bye bye.